Hello everyone. Today we are seeing the solutions for internal three questions that are on the website. Let's see what is the first question. You are given a data set with the following feature: age, income and education level. You need to predict whether a person will purchase a product or not. Which type of problem is this? Option 1 is classification, B is regression, third option is clustering and D is association. So the correct answer of this question was classification because the task involved in predicting a categorical item outcome whether a person will purchase a product yes or no is comes under the classification problems. They are used when the target variable consists of discrete labels or classes. Moving on, the second question is you are comparing two data sets. One contains a list of customer names and emails, and the other contains purchase history. Which of the following would be more important to check before the merging the data sets? Options are whether both data sets are in the CSV format. Second option is whether one data set is larger than the other. Third is whether the email addresses are consistently formatted in both datasets, and the final option is whether both datasets contain missing value or not. So the correct answer for this question is option C, whether the email addresses are consistently formatted in both data sets. Explanation to this answer could be when merging data sets based on a common file like email addresses, it is crucial to ensure that the key field is consistently formatted in both data sets. Inconsistent formatting can lead to mismatches, resulting in incorrect or incomplete merged data. Next question is what is the primary reason for using correlation analysis in data science? Options were A to find the degree to which two variables are related. Option B was to perform hypothesis testing on the data set. Option C was to determine the cause of an observed relationship between two variables. And option D was to check if two variables are independent. So the correct answer to this question was option A and D. To check the degree to which two variables are related and to check if two variables are independent. Because option A is the correlation analysis measure the strength and direction of a relationship between two variables, typically quantified by a correlation coefficient. This is a primary use of a correlation analysis. And option B is correct because correlation can help assess whether there is a dependency between two variables. If the correlation is zero, the variables are likely to be independent. And why we didn't choose option B and C? Because B is giving hypothesis testing, which involves statistical techniques like t-test, chi-square test, etc., which are not the primary focus of correlation analysis. And option C does not imply caution, it only identifies relationships. Establishing caution requires further analysis such as controlled experiments or casual interference models. That's why we have gone for option A and D. Now the question fourth was when using a stride of 2 with a 3 cross 3 kernel on 32 into 32 pixel images in a convolutional neural network CNN, the output size of the first convolutional layer will be. So for its solution, I have inserted an image of the solution. To calculate the output size of the conventional layer, use the formula output size equals to input size minus kernel size plus 2 into padding upon stride plus 1. Given the input size 32 into 32, kernel size would be 3 cross 3, which is given in the question. Stride is 2 and padding 0, because we are assuming that there is no padding. We simply calculate uh, using the above formula, and the outcome will be 15 cross 15 pixels per channel. Thus, the output feature map of the first convolutional layer is 15 cross 15. Moving forward is the next question, is question number 5. In a decision tree with a maximum depth of 5, the tree can have at most dash nodes. We have to find how much nodes that the tree would have at most. So the answer to this question would be 36 node. In the decision tree with a maximum depth of 5, the tree can have at most 63 nodes. Would be the explanation to this answer? We would simply find using the formula total nodes equals to 2 into depth minus 1, and then we'll calculate how many nodes would be there. Next question is question number 6, which is which of the following statements about correlation is true? Select one or more from the above option. A. A negative correlation means that as one variable increases, the other decreases. B. Correlation implies caution. C. A correlation of 0 implies that two variables are causally related. And option D is a correlation of 1 means there is no linear relationship between two variables. So the correct answer to this question would be A. A negative correlation means that as one variable increases, the other decreases. And the correct explanation to this answer would be A is true because a negative correlation indicates an inverse relationship between two variables, meaning as one increases, the other decreases. Why we haven't choose B is because correlation does not imply causation. It only indicates a relationship between variables without providing one or other. We didn't choose option C and D because a correlation of 0 implies no relationship between two variables, not that they are causally related, they could still have a non-linear relationship. And D is false because a correlation of 1 indicates a perfect positive linear relationship between two variables, not an absence of a relationship. Moving forward is question number 7, which says which of the following data types is not typically a characteristics of big data? Options are A. High volume, B. High variety, C. High velocity, and D. Low complexity. So the correct answer for this question would be D. Low complexity, because low complexity deals with a typically high complexity due to the challenges of managing, analyzing large, varied, and fast moving data sets. Next is the question number 8. Given that data is often messy and inconsistent, which of the following approaches would you take to ensure the data set is clean and analyzed? Select one or more option. A option is start by removing all rows and missing values. Option B, examine the data for errors or inconsistency and addresses them systematically. Option C is conduct exploratory data analysis before cleaning the data. And option D is use automated data cleaning tools without examining the data. So the correct answer for this question is option B and C. Examine the data for errors or inconsistency and address them systematically, and conduct exploratory data analysis before cleaning the data. Why we have choose option B and C is because a systematic explanation of errors or inconsistencies is crucial for data integrity and accuracy. And exploratory data analysis EDA helps you to understand the structure and properties of a data set, identifying issues like missing values, outliers, or pattern that need cleaning. Next is question number 9. Which data format is commonly used for structural data and can be easily processed in databases? You can select one or more options from below options. A is audio files, B is XML, C is JSON, and D is CSV. The correct answers could be B, C, and D. XML, JSON, and CSV. The correct explanation to this answer is XML is extendable markup language, which is a structural data format often used to store and transport data. JSON is JavaScript object notation, which is widely used for structural data and particularly in web applications and APIs. CSV is comma separated values, is a simple and commonly used format for structural data and can be easily imported into databases or spreadsheet. Audio file is not used because it is unstructured data and not typically used for structural data processing. Next is the question number 10. If you are working with a data set where some numerical features have extreme values that appears to be error, which of the following methods would be appropriate for outliner detection? You can select one or more options. Option A, run a sanity check and examine data for outliners. Option B is apply mean value imputation to the outliners. Option C is use and hot encoding to transform the outliner into categorical variables. Or D is to perform linear regression on all features. The correct answer to this question could be option A, run a sanity check and examine data for outliners. It is because sanity checks such as visualizing the data, example box plot or scatter plots, or using statistical methods like X, Z score or IQR is crucial for identifying and understanding outliners. Question number 11 is, after performing data imputation using the mean, you notice a significant skew in your feature distribution. What would be an appropriate next step? Select one or more options. Option A is apply one hot encoding to transfer the feature. Option B is leave the data as is and since imputation, which means is a widely accepted method. Option C is trying imputing with the median to reduce the effect of skewness. And option D is remove the feature from the dataset to avoid skewness. The correct answer to this question is option C. Try imputing with the median to reduce the effect of skewness. And we are choosing this option because imputing with the median is less sensitive to extreme values and can reduce the effect of skewness in the feature distribution. You can see here I have also mentioned what are incorrect option and why we haven't choose them. If skewness persists after median imputation, you can consider transforming the data to make the distribution more normal. Up next is the question number 12, which says, what is the main purpose of data imputation? You can select one or more options from the below options. A is to remove records with missing data. B is to convert categorical data into numerical format. And C is to estimate missing values based on available data. Here, the correct answer would be C, to estimate missing values based on available data, because the primary purpose of data imputation is to estimate and fill the missing values based on patterns in the available data, thereby improving the data set's usability for analysis. Option C would be the best fit. Question number 13 is, in a hierarchical clustering, is there are initially 10 clusters. The number of steps required to merge the cluster into a single cluster is, we have to find how many number of steps are required for hierarchical clustering. So the answer would be 9 steps. An explanation would be, initially you start with the cluster. In this case, each steps 2 clusters are merged, reducing the total number of clusters by 1. To go from 10 cluster to 1 cluster, you need to perform merge steps. Now moving forward, next is question number 14. If your dataset contains a mixture of continuous and discrete features and you need to scale the continuous features, which of the following techniques should be applied? You can select one or more options. Option A is random value imputation for missing values. Option B is one hot encoding for all features. Option C is dimensionality reduction using PCA. And option D is Z-score scaling to normalize continuous features. The correct answer to this question is option D, the Z-score scaling to normalize continuous features. Why we have chosen option D is because Z-score scaling to normalize continuous features by subtracting the mean and dividing by the standard deviation, ensuring that they have a mean of 0 and standard deviation of 1. This is the appropriate technique for scaling continuous features. Question number 5 is, which of the following would be considered an artifact in the data cleaning process? You can select one or more options. Option A is a power outage that corrupts the dataset during acquisition. Option D is a systematic problem introduced during the data cleaning process. Option C is missing value that cannot be recovered, and option D is error in the data that cannot be fixed by correction methods. The correct answer for this question would be option B, a systematic problem introduced during the data cleaning process. Option B is correct because a systematic problem introduced during the data cleaning process is something introduced in the data through processing or cleaning steps. A systematic error like an incorrect transformation or imputation method would be considered an artifact. Up next is question 16, which says with if a data set has 1000 data points and a training error is zero point 0.1 while the test error is zero point 0.2, the model is likely exhibiting dash bias. We have to answer what type of bias it is. The model is likely exhibiting high bias is the answer, and the explanation would be for given training error is zero point 0.1, relatively low training error suggests that the model fits the training data well. Test error is zero point 0.2, which is a higher test error, indicates that the model does not generalize well to the new unseen data. When a model has a higher test error compared to the training error, it may indicate that the model is too simplistic or underfitting the data, meaning it is as high bias. High bias occurs when the data makes strong assumptions about the data and cannot capture the underlying patterns effectively. This leads to a poor performance on both the training and test sets, but in this case, the model is performing well on the training data but not on the test data, which typically points to a bias issue. Next is question number 17, which says you have a data set with missing values age column with a quantitative. You are deciding between using the mean or the median to fill in the missing data. Which of the following situations would make the median a better choice than the mean? You can select one or more options from option A. There are no missing values in the age column. Option B. The data is categorical and not numerical. Option C. The distribution of the age column is normal. And option D is there are no missing values in the age column. The correct answer for this question would be none of the above option, as the right situation for choosing the median over the mean could be there are no missing values in the age column. If there are no missing values, there are no need to impute any data. So either the mean or median is relevant here. B is incorrect because the data is categorical, not numerical. The age column is numerical, so it is not applicable. The mean or median are used for numerical data, not a categorical data. The distribution of the age column is not normal because if the data is normally distributed, the mean and the median are very similar. So using the mean would be just good as using the median. In a normal distribution, the mean is often a good representation of the data. Option D is there are no missing values in the age column and it is not suitable because similar to option A, there are no missing values. No imputation is needed for this. Up next is question number 18, which says in a recurrent neural network RNN, if the sequence length is 50, the number of time steps the RNN run will be. We basically have to calculate the steps required for the recurrent neural network. An answer would be the number of steps required in this process will be equal to the sequence length only. So the sequence length given in the question is 50. So the number of steps required would be 50 only. The sequence length refers to the number of data points or the elements in the sequence that are the RNN process at each time step. If the sequence length is 50, the RNN will process 50 time steps, one for each element in the sequence. So the sequence length is 50, the RNN process will process 50 time steps. The 19th question is which of the following is a feature engineering technique used to handle categorical data? You can select multiple options. A option is mean value imputation. B is binning data value. C is random value imputation and D is one hot encoding. The correct answer for this question can be D, one hot encoding. And why we have choose one and hot encoding? Because one hot encoding is a common feature engineering technique for handling categorical data by converting each category into a binary vector, which makes the categorical features usable for machine models. I hope you have understood each and every question which are given in internal 3. Thank you.